The owner of an auction business in Laurel County is picking up the pieces after fire destroys much of his business.
It's a bill that seeks to re-establish Kentucky's stance on gun control. Why? Not everyone agrees.
A Lexington business tells me they've seen lines around the store with people hoping to be the next Powerball winner.
This is WKYT News at 5.
Heavy damage at a southern Kentucky auction house, and investigators say it was set on fire.
The fire started just before 2 this morning at Castile Auction Company in East Bernstadt. As WKYT's Phil Pendleton reports, the owner says the arsonist not only destroyed a lot of valuable items, but a place filled with memories. It's our top story at 5.
A business, a man's livelihood. You could say it's his passion. For Clyde Castile, his auction company was all about the people.
You remember those that used to come to your auction that have passed on, and you miss them.
But now Castile is missing so much more.
That was my grandmother's. It's from the 20s.
From a fire that destroyed nearly everything in his decades-old business. A fire police say someone set.
I don't know if a person can ever really come to a conclusion of why that someone would do it. Of course, at this point, we have our suspicions.
And that was the sound that alerted Castile to rush out of his home to realize something was wrong. He says an alert driver at 1 o'clock this morning likely made this fire from not being any worse. That quick action kept the fire from spreading, and as Castile going around discovering this and that.
Figurines inside that case there, they're called mud people. They're pretty good antique pieces.
That can be saved. Yet just about everything else, including nickel seats from an old movie house in Cincinnati.
Seats look like they're pretty much destroyed.
Stuff is gone. Memories remain. In Laurel County,
the stuff in that box, it looks to be still intact to me.
Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
State police are investigating the fire as arson. Castile says there was no electricity hooked up to the trailer where the fire started.
A Kentucky police officer has been charged with a break-in at his own police department. Kentucky State Police arrested Simpsonville police officer Terry Putnam today. He's accused of stealing evidence, including thousands of dollars in confiscated cash. Our Garrett Weimer's in Frankfort with more.
State police say they interviewed officers and conducted lie detector tests at the Simpsonville Police Department to find out who stole drugs, guns, and cash from evidence lockers there. Today, just over 2 months later, they arrested an officer. As he was led outside on his way to jail, Officer Terry Putnam told waiting cameras,
"Didn't do it. That's all I can say. Check with Hux on Shelby Road."
Putnam says he's on video surveillance at a gas station going home. Putnam faces burglary, theft, official misconduct, and tampering with physical evidence charges. State police say in November, someone broke into the Simpsonville Police Department taking drugs, guns, and $30,000 in cash from evidence lockers. At a news conference outside KSP Post 12 in Frankfort, police say they hope it sends a message that they don't shy away from policing their own.
You know, the state police investigated this. They came to this conclusion and they made the arrest. There's not any kind of a cover-up or, you know, sweeping it under the rug, as a lot of people try to say. That, you know, we all, in law enforcement, we try to do the right thing. We're not looking to hide things from the public.
Police say Putnam has been with the Simpsonville Police Department for 2.5 years, but they say he's a 23-year veteran, including law enforcement work in other states. In Frankfort, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And police say Putnam was taken back to Shelby County to be booked, but he would not be jailed there. Funeral arrangements have been set for Lexington's first homicide victim of 2016. The Fayette County coroner says 28-year-old Joseph McDowell died January 2nd at UK Hospital. Police say that someone shot him multiple times on Roosevelt Boulevard on New Year's Day. And they're still working to figure out who that is. McDowell's visitation will be this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Consolidated Baptist Church. His funeral will follow at 1 o'clock.
It's been a beautiful day in the bluegrass, mild temperatures to go along with the sunny skies. Enjoy it while you can, though, because it won't last. WKYT's chief meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us with the first look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, starting to see the changes already showing up right now in our live sky cam, Jennifer, with clouds that are increasing from the southwest. Yes, we had clouds increasing around this same point yesterday. Today, though, a little bit different. Some thicker clouds and a southwesterly wind that is bringing more moisture into the air. 49 degrees, yet the humidity really telling the tale from yesterday to today. Yesterday, we were barely at 30%. Right now, we're approaching 60% for the humidity. And of course, the higher that humidity gets, that's an indication the atmosphere is getting ready to throw some moisture our way. And indeed, we're picking up on rains across extreme western parts of Tennessee into the southeastern corner of Missouri. That's going to work its way on toward the east and northeast, where right now we're just getting in on the clouds that are thickening up from southwest to northeast. Let's hit the future button on the radar and look at the timeline on the top right corner of your screen, and then notice how the rains begin to pick up the pace late tonight and early tomorrow morning. So get the umbrellas ready for the trip into work and school tomorrow. Once we get through tomorrow, we get through Saturday. Old Man Winter finally begins to stretch and kind of limbers up for the long haul. He's waking up. We'll show you what Old Man Winter brings to that 7-day forecast when I come back in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. It's been a hot issue in the past few days. President Obama wants to expand background checks for gun sales.
But some Kentucky lawmakers do not agree with that plan, and they proposed a bill so that Kentucky does not have to recognize any federal law restricting gun ownership. Caitlin Setner has the details.
The same week the president talked about gun control, a House bill was introduced in Kentucky state legislature seeking to reestablish the state's stance on firearms. The House bill was introduced to legislators Tuesday. It cites the powers of the President of the United States, saying that does not authorize him to violate the Constitution or amendments to it. According to State Representative Diane St. Onge, the bill doesn't seek to change current Kentucky state law. It simply reestablishes the stance of the Commonwealth.
The federal government knows what they can and cannot do, but should they step beyond that line and try to do anything which does abridge those rights, then we as the Commonwealth will not recognize that here.
Well, this isn't the first time the state representative has introduced a bill to the House that regards the Second Amendment right to bear arms. In Frankfort, Caitlin Setner, WKYT.
And the bill still needs to be assigned to a committee.
Kentucky State Police are investigating after a man was hit and killed while trying to cross a road. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Floyd County. It happened about 1 yesterday afternoon on Kentucky Route 80 in Langley. State police say 41-year-old Ricky Little had parked his vehicle on the side of the highway and was trying to cross the road when he was hit. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The crash remains under investigation by KSP. In Scott County, police are warning people about a phone scam. Georgetown police say residents are getting calls from a person who claims to work for the police department. The person then asks to look at their computer. A Google search of the number the caller is using brings up a number of complaints. Georgetown police want to remind people to be aware of these situations, and if you have any doubt, call the police department with your questions or concerns. In Knox County, an officer and a woman were both injured after a crash on the Corbin Bypass. State police say Officer Wendell Hunter was patrolling on the Corbin Bypass when he clocked a speeding vehicle. When Hunter tried to make a turnaround, he was hit by another vehicle. Both Officer Hunter and the driver of the other vehicle were taken to the hospital to be treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Drugs and alcohol are not suspected to be factors in the crash.
Unless you are just waking up, you have probably heard that no one won last night's Powerball drawing, which means Saturday's Powerball jackpot will now be worth about $700 million. And that's the largest of any lottery game in U.S. history. That has many people out buying tickets. Victor Puente talked to people at one store trying to keep up with the Powerball fever.
They sell a lot of lottery tickets here at the Garden Springs Marathon. One of the cashiers tells me they may have set a record for the past 2 days. She said a lot of the people playing are already planning how they'll spend that money. The gas station has sold so many lottery tickets, they've got an award. But the last few days have been very busy.
So many people buying that we had a line halfway around the store, and it was just all Powerball.
Nancy Mabry says she's seen her fair share of regulars, but also a lot of new faces hoping to claim an estimated $700 million.
Everybody's excited. They'll tell you how they're going to spend it. And of course, everybody says, of course I'll go back to work. I buy a ticket, and I've already told him if I win, I'm going to tell him I can't come to work because I'm rich.
One of her customers says he's got political aspirations with that money.
Probably invest it and go against Trump.
They've already sold a few $1,000s worth of tickets. They know that number will rise.
And I'll probably sell another 4,000 to 5,000 before the day is over. Everyone is buying right now.
In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
And that drawing is at 10:59 Saturday night. Be sure to watch WKYT for those winning numbers.